Oh, it's AR12's last home map actually, and it's Regicide Fortress or Fortress, but I'm assuming it is Regicide. Yes. It's Erikur with the Vietnamese for this one, and AR12 with the Cumans. Cumans obviously with a fantastic boom potential, especially on this map, because you could go literally straight to the next age and start with your second TC and gain an early villagers and eco advantage going through the ages. Players will probably be using their king to scout. King snipes could be a play on the Regicide Fortress to end the game, so that's a fun bit of these things, but usually it's more played more regularly than that. Especially an arena on speed here, stone walls with towers and a castle protecting your inside base, but you'd have to extend ASAP to the external woodlands and everything to have consistent wood income for the long run, in my opinion. So as you see, R12 going straight up to the field edge with Cumans, only with 15 pop total. I guess that's the king and the scout, and the rest are villagers, whereas Erikur with the Vietnamese for this one is bringing in the boar with the villager. Actually, so quite a lot of the time you see players bringing in the boar with the scout instead, because you could scout with the king and then you could free up the scout to bring in the boar instead. But it's definitely going to be an early villager lead for Air12 here. Should have no trouble whatsoever dropping that second TC. And yeah, he'll be running away, so to speak, in villager numbers. So kings are out on the field and getting a decent grasp of the map. Airfall still scouting with his Cuman king here, whereas Erikur is content with his current scouting with the king. Doesn't want to risk the king unnecessarily here, or this is scouting the back as well. Yeah, shouldn't be an issue. Not too much army on the field early on in these matchups here. Let's look a little bit at the fortresses here. No resources in the back near the edge, as sometimes can happen. So that's good. Stone and gold right by the castle for Erikur. That's great news. Whereas, unfortunately, Air12's castle does not have any core resources close to it other than berries. But the second TC is going up with... Oh, that's a scout fight. With 8 villagers here, as is common. The second TC of Cumans builds 40% slower or something, so you need to commit to that in order to get it up. Erikur on the way, 40% up. And yeah, aiming for a somewhat fast castle here, missing gold obviously, but otherwise eco-wise should be perfectly fine from the feudal age onwards here. Loses his scout though, which is bad news, I guess, if you want to monitor what's going on. That means that Air12 can freely scout with his king as well, because now there's literally no army whatsoever to deal with his king on the field. So now you can just use the king to scout the rest of the map and be done with it. Not catching up in villager numbers yet, but no production whatsoever from Erikur here. Whereas Air12 is producing out 2 TCs. Can petards use siege towers? No, they can't. They are considered siege of their own, so they can't be garrisoned inside siege towers. But that would be a way to snipe enemy scout for sure. On the other hand, though, feudal age stone walls have only 900 HP. So if you send one petard here, the wall is broken. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to sneakily break in and break through somewhere, and the Cumans player is still feudal booming, then you'd be breaking through easily through the weak stone walls. Alright, so let's go to the map. Note the villager numbers here now. It's 31 for AR12 and there's 20 something for Erikur, so that's a huge difference in villager creation. Erikur with 8 on wood, only 1 army camp here, whereas AR12 has the TC right next on wood, so arguably AR12 has more consistent and more fluent wood income here as well, which he needs obviously for his farms. Erikur even getting Loom now, straight after Castle Age. What's the idea behind that? Does he want to... Well, he's not going for a castle drop or anything, I don't quite... Well, he just wants to be on the safe side, I guess. Siege Tower Archers. That would be nice. Oh, opening. It's not like there's gonna come any army here anytime soon. AR12 did not go for that extra stone for the next TC, so didn't Erikur. So Erikur might... I mean, I'm not gonna accuse him of not knowing, but usually on Registered Fortress is kind of boomy early on. So you want to gather that extra 50 stone if you want to go to 3 TCs in the Castle Age. But looks like Erikur has different plans here anyway. He's going with some map presence with the Rattan Archers. Already has the castle anyway. And can use the Rattan Archers for easy map control to contest the relics. Airtel Scouts, of course, going down here, or has to flee at the very least. We'll find an opening though. I was going to say could find some valuable intel here now, but that's not quite the case. It goes down to TC fire here, but at least knows there's a gap to enter in here now. So if you want to go for some quick Castle Age aggression, that would be your time. 46 villagers, 20 villagers more, 21 villagers more for Air 12 now going into the Castle Age. Let's see if he commits to stone. He does indeed. Wants to go into the Keep Shack here, maybe a third TC as well. And all in all, it's not that, I mean, it's Castle Age way after the opponent here, but there's just a few Rattans on the field for now. 3 military for Erikur. Erikur also lacking that 50 stone to go to the and go for another TC, so it's going to be 2 TCs for Erikur for a while here. If he had been able to go into 3 TCs instantly, then Erikur would be able to catch up with the Cumans player much more easily now. But now, going to the Castle Age, Erikur is on 2 TCs. Airtel is on 2 as well, and one of them is obviously consistently pumping out villagers, while the other one researches Castle Age. So eco-wise, I'd say Airtel is in a great spot here now. He's going to keep his villager lead simply because Erikur only commits to 2 TCs for the time being. So Rattan Archers, indeed, Castle Age is in Firefall, a bit, well, probably went for villager numbers over Wheelbarrow here while going up, simply to make sure that he doesn't fall behind by idling 2 TCs here. And the Ghost says Mayans would be fun on this map. I think Mayans is a common pick for Regicide Fortress as well. You start with the castle after all, so you have that instant bloom archers. Erikur is contesting the relics now. The first relic on the way, and that's the advantage of having that earlier Castle Age as well. You'd have your monks out earlier, you have full control of this one obviously, and you have some map presence with your Rattan Archers, which could easily snipe monks if that should be the case. Airtel going for some knights here now, monks of his own as well. I like the knights choice because they would probably do decent against these somewhat generic Rattan Archers for now, only having fletching in. But going for a non-existent relic here now. That's the guarding point down here. Oh, never mind, going for that one. Oh, it's been picked. Oh, oh. Erikur, how's your reaction? AR12, why aren't you patrolling? There we go. Yeah, that should go down easily. And the third TC is up for Erikur finally, but what's the situation for AR12? He's with 3 TCs as well, so AR12 should keep that significant villager lead, no problem. Relic situation is still only 1 for Erikur. 2, 3, 4. Where's the last one? Should be 5 relics anyway, but I can't see the last one on the minimap. Both players in cast stage, triple TC production of villagers. AR12 will snag this relic for sure. And it's two relics in lead for Erikur, so he did get one of the relics out on the map. We'll probably get this one as well, so it will be at least 3 relics for Erikur here. Erikur probably expected him to go Mayans, of which Vietnamese is a great counter against. Yep, absolutely. Then again, AR12 saw that Erikur only had archer civs left, right? So then it makes sense to go for a cavalry civ as well, and Cumans can be insanely strong on the Regicide Fortress with that food boost to begin with, so that you could go to the feudal age and exploit that second TC like immediately. But this monk is in danger here. Alright, yeah. Sacrifices a couple of knights here, AR12, just to make sure the monk finds his way home here. AR12 learned to use Cumans on the Regicide Fortress from Nikov. It's a 6 strat. Alright, looking forward to seeing it. Oh, there's a gap. There's a gap. Mind the gap. Here comes the university. I think we're looking at Kipchak here, most likely for AR12. Right now, just pull back out. Cumans can't stonewall though, so you'd have to do something about this. Maybe a house or something. Erikur has extended to 4 TCs now, it seems. 1, 2, 3, 4 indeed. So he is desperate to catch up here. But look at the numbers. AR12, ooh, 3 TCs, but will take a little while before Erikur can catch up. And the actual numbers, anyway, are comparable here. Looks like... isn't it 2 relics for AR12 now, which should be okay. Dropping a forward castle, definitely going into the skip check play now, and fast imp with trebs going out, and Erikur has the gold but is lacking the food, so I don't think we'll be seeing Erikur with imp anytime soon. This early imp could very well work wonders for AR12 here. We'll have to react to the aggression. Does that is only 9 to 8 military for now. And what's the military of AR12 is not making keep check, he's going mainly for the knights line, I'd assume. Monks and knights maybe, and another TC now. So if he commits this one to villagers as well, then AR12 is again going to catch up in the villager numbers from Erikur and oh, alright. I think we're going to look at an early siege ram push here against the Vietnamese player, which could be admittedly very strong against an archer civ. Siege ram, cav, maybe some Kipchak to complement it as well. It's beginning to look like a strong one for AR12. Gets taken off these farms, will not be able to go into siege ram immediately, but cap ram definitely a play here. And he could already take into cap ram once the siege workshop is up. And again, more stables being added as well. Erikur wants some expansion on the map as well, does secure the woodland here at the very least. And knights deal with the Rattans over here. The knights probably have +1 now, I was going to say probably have +2. Here comes the cap ram, and where's the king? There's the king. That's not to say AR12 will go for the king snipe here, but it is an option. 4 siege workshops. It's going to be full on cap times here. Now neglecting to produce from more workshops at a time here now though, but military numbers will increase rapidly here. Cavalry is on the way. Cuman's eco just working wonders here, and it's going to hit Erikur before he can mass army any significant army at all here. Here come Trebs, cap trams, and yeah, a sizable amount of knights. Even a monk here, I don't know what his plan is over here. Maybe he'll have some units. Still 10 villagers lead for AR12, really keeping that production consistent. And cap times on the way, and Trebs pushing as well. This is looking tough for the Vietnamese player here. He probably doesn't have a cavalry option at all at this point. No cavalry, so how do you deal with rams when you don't have any stable to pump out in light cav or knights or some such? You have the barracks going for the pikes here. That's going to work both against mounted units and the rams to some extent actually, but still you need the numbers, and those guys are halbs, so immediately into halbs here for Erikur. Makes sense, he's up against cavaliers here, but look at the production tabs. Trash halbs while Trebs are pushing, and you still, I mean, halbs work to some extent against the rams, but you need to weigh whether you should keep the cavalry numbers down or address the siege here. I think AR12 feels he really needs to win this one as well, because the next match will be a death match on Cenotes. And that's probably unfamiliar territory for both. So castle goes down here, most likely for Erikur. That means that the Rattan Archers dream goes down the drain as well. That's going to be one less castle to produce from. And yeah, only 2 castles total for Erikur. He's down almost 20 villagers as well. And AR12 is adding a few Kipchaks here. They're going to deal with small groups of halves just nicely here. Castle panic repairs here, but stone will run out as well at some point here. Keeping the traps alive, and oh come on, that's just that's just really lucky to keep the castle up there with so little stone left in the bank. But Kipchaks are in the mix. Treb keeps firing. Might see another Treb or some more rams moving forward here as well. Let's look at AR12's eco. Looks pretty healthy behind all this. Could drop even another castle as well for more map control. This would be a candidate for that spot, I'd say. But good job of Erikur to keep the castle up as well. But he's behind 40 population now. AR12 has twice the military, and the KD of AR12 is also 50 to 18, which is pretty solid. Thing about this though is Erikur, he barely has any military. He definitely can't counterattack. He's being pushed really hard here. The cavalry enter the field, and you could go for some raids here. Kipchaks covering against halberdiers here as well, and Erikur will be struggling for food soon, because his farms will be idle due to the forward. He's only with 13 on food. That's hardly sustainable for Halb's production in the long run. He's floating lots of gold, but can't really make use of it. The king is down here. It's pretty common to garrison the king inside the towers in the back of your base on Regicide Fortress. Could be AR12 is doing the same thing. Yeah, it's over here. He needs to flee in exile. Yeah, he needs to find a safe spot somewhere. Light cav now for AR12 though. Is he... Nah, he's not struggling for it. He's preserving the wood and gold for the continued push instead. Strong humans push here indeed. 125, 40 villagers lead for AR12 now, and almost twice the kills. Certainly looking like AR12's game. Halb numbers, of course, potentially worrying when you don't have the critical amount of Kipchaks. Only 4+2, only fletching actually for those guys. Halbs are chasing the traps, but if you pull back towards the castle on hill, you should still be fine here. Erikur with huge amounts of gold, but running into the castle fire, he will be losing units here again. He's going into bombard cannons now to maybe try and contest the castle on top here, or trebs from a distance. And army numbers evening out a little bit here as well. Erikur defended good considering condition. AR12's build was much better. Yeah, absolutely. And don't really think that Erikur could see this coming, so I think it's just adapting to what he's seeing and trying his best to defend. But eco is going to be an issue here. He has lots of gold, but he's not really spending it now. He's preserving it, I guess, trying to survive and to starve AR12 of gold, but AR12 will still have 2 gold piles over here, and to some extent even almost controlling this one. So it's going to be a while yet until AR12 is out of gold, and yeah, just some small annoyances here, not going to be of consequence. Lots of production now from Erikur, and AR12 is going into Hussars now, maybe hoping to raid, maybe preparing for a counter against Vietnamese skirms if Erikur goes for skirms against the Kipchaks here. Not elite Kipchaks, they're basically just Kipchaks as the buffer to deal with enemy halbs here. Military numbers higher for Erikur, it's mainly trash though. Yeah, I think it's weird that Erikur isn't spending gold, so only 5 on gold now. There's much that could be done. He is with stone enough for another castle. He could actually try and... Yeah, where would he drop a defensive castle? Maybe he can't really, because it would risk being tread down. Lots of idle time for Erikur here now. 22 idles is effectively down to half of the working builders of AR12. Erikur has 3 relics, AR12 has 2, so it's not that much of an advantage. Just one more for Erikur. Bombard cannon actually hitting his halbs now, and Kipchak's doing work as well. Pulling away. Oh, and look at this! All the halbs are forward under castle fire, so the Hussars can snipe 1 bombard cannon, maybe 2 here. Ay. That's a waste of gold for Erikur, who's now at 136 pop against 166 for AR12 here. Kipchak's doing work as well. The numbers are increasing to worrying numbers here. Defensive castle on the side here with the remaining stone for Erikur. AR12 with lots of stone as well, though he could easily take more map control with castles as well as army now. Huge mass of Hussars here. Yeah, I'm wondering why we're not seeing Imperial skirms here, because quite a few Kipchaks in the field. Erikur floating lots of resources, he may be struggling a little bit for wood after a while. I think AR12 will starve him of wood in the end, because if AR12 drops a castle here, for example, and that wood is off limits, then there's only this one left, and AR12 has the stone for at least 3 castles by now. This is AR12's current resources. Getting close to pop capped, and with still with 40 more villagers overall. Both going for elite units here, so it's going to be elite rat and archer for Erikur, but he only has 2, well, soon 3 castles to mass from, but he risks losing this one rather quickly here. I'd say that rat and archer's masses would work against Kipchak, but you're not going to get there easily now with having to drop 2 castles before you can start massing them. It's quite a decent amount of halbs though, 50 halbs here dealing with the traps, keeping the castle up. Yeah, this might be a match that goes to to the trash wars with no gold left actually, because here come the rams, the halberdiers are out of position, it's roughly equal numbers here. I'd send the Kipchak over here mainly now to leave the Rams some room to attack here. Rat and Archers in production, but even though they create rather quickly, it's going to take a long while to amass the appropriate numbers needed to deal with the enemy masses here. Siege Workshops on this side as well, so we should be seeing some Cap Rams on this side, maybe even Siege Ram, because AR12 can actually afford it now. Yeah, it's taking Siege Ram. Ratsons are expensive to get elite. Yeah. That's something as well. It's worth the effort considering the return though if you want to go against mass Kipchaks. But maybe Scorpions or Onagers would be a better play. But Kipchaks very quick and mobile though, and this is a ridiculous mass of them. There are nearly around 50 of them now, and now even helps and Ratans won't help here because they are told with 50, 60 military, same numbers, but gold army versus trash army here should be AR12's game to take this one. Siege Rams come as well, so they could distract some fire off the Rat and Archers if the numbers should grow concerning here. But then you have the hill with the castle to fall back to. Could just patrol fire with the Kipchaks here to take out Halbs yet again, and production seems... Well, Halb production is not continuing now for Erikur. Is queuing a little bit more, getting the last armor upgrade for the Kipchak as well. But now we have 5 siege trans pushing, and I don't see Erikur easily dealing with this now. Doesn't have any mounted option here, is going with Ratans, and Kipchak in dangerous masses here, making use of the choke points as well. Rams will soak Rat and Archer fire, and Kipchaks will be free to fire away at them. And we have some stuff going on here. So Erikur acknowledging something is happening here actually, sends the monk to deal with it, but there are siege rams on this side as well. Only pop limit is limiting AR12 from attacking with siege ram from the right hand side as well. They will address this castle. Rat and Archer will be out of the question, and now only Villager is good for Erikur for the time being. I think he is going to lose this one. Yep, castle goes down to siege rams. So why not just try and target the king now? Maybe AR12 thinks the king was in here or something, but with this kind of push, not long until the king gets sniped, and it's GG. So Erikur's last resort here would be to try and hunt down the king of AR12 and take it, but that's it. The push is a fact. AR12 takes the game and is going to a 3-3 in this best of 9. Amazing. Strong humans on Regicide Fortress here. All this red map control over here, extending the walls with houses as well to limit raids on this side. Some presence here to try and deal with the castle from that side as well, and the overall villager high for AR12 throughout the whole game here. More relic gold for Erikur, even if only one more relic is actually 1000 gold difference. That's significant. He goes stronger, obviously, for the Cubans player. 5000 more score in the end. 371.81, almost twice the kills for AR12, but that's lots of trash units for Erikur, so that doesn't take its toll on the economy as much. But overall, stronger military economy. Uptime 336 fuel age. You don't see that a lot on a regular random map, and on Regicide with Cubans, it's absolutely viable. 4-2-3 in terms of castles, and finally the numbers here ever increasing for AR12, getting pop capped in the end with Erikur with only 107. So that concludes the game 6.